Good evening, race fans. Urban Pirate here, Black Flag Racing TV. It's been a very short break from my last race with Smoking Pirellis in the F1. It is time for Black Flag Evo versus Impreza Rivals. Round 1, race number 1, hosted by our very own Kevin77. And looking forward to this. It's going to be two 20-minute races here around Interlagos in either the WRX GR3 or the Lancer Evolution. Practice currently taking place. It will be qualifying, 5 minutes qualifying, followed by a 20-minute race from the grid. We will then have reverse grid scenario and another 20-minute race, and then we'll know who's who and what's what and who scored at what points. So without further ado, we know the track. We don't need to mess around, do we? And you'll see up in the corner there, RIP Jeff Beck, 1944, he was born, died just a couple of days ago. An absolute freaking legend. Legend, I'll tell you. Without question, one of the greatest guitarists that ever lived. I doff my hat to you, dear sir. And off you go. So, let's quick rundown of the teams before qualifying begins. They are your main team. So basically, this is how it's going to work. You are either in the Mitsubishi or you're in the Subaru. They are the two main teams. Racing for Mitsubishi will be Kevin, Fubar, Stonecutter, Ishmael Truth, Demos, Thanos and Canados. In the Subaru will be Avalon, GMAC, Panos, Stormfly VR46, Aussie Rooster, Ghost and Sturpan. They are your main teams. Now, they've got an individual race between them. They will be racing for individual points, of course. We've also got a Mitsubishi versus Subaru Constructors Championship. But we also have a team championship as well. So those guys competing as a team will be competing against the other team. We do have one or two people acting as reserves. They will jump into either a Mitsubishi or a Subaru, depending on the numbers on the track. They won't score points for the teams, but they will score constructors and individual points. That team competition is only between those drivers. And I'll tell you what, I've been really looking forward to this, and I'm going to be brutally honest. A week ago, I didn't think this was going to happen. The numbers looked quite low, and then just suddenly everyone wanted to get involved. So now let's have a look at who's in the room, and I can tell you for now, we've got more people in the room than suggested they were racing tonight, and the rules do clearly state check in for a freaking race, man. So I might be chucking out some warnings later. And to be fair, I'm going to say it on the stream so anyone that watches can hear, right? It's not difficult to click on a link and click yes or click no. And it really helps if you can do that, because it makes planning a lot easier to do. Look, there are people out there that do it every time and don't miss. And let's be fair, you can check in for a race a week. So you can finish this race, you can check in for next week's race already. So it's not a difficult thing to do. Please, guys, come on. We've got this Sim League Pro to make life easier. Please, can we use it and start ticking in to the races? So we'll be starting qualifying very soon. So for TJ to be coming on the last stream, telling me to hurry. What the fuck for? They're not even ready. So we've got Demos. He's in. Demos, of course, is for Team Mitsubishi. He's in the Lancer. We've got Wiggy also in the Lancer. He is acting as a reserve this evening. Sturpan in the WRX. TJ, or Ghost as he's otherwise known, in the WRX. Avalon in the WRX. Panos in the WRX. We've got Kevin in the Lancer. We've got Thanos in the Lancer. Ozzy in the WRX. Fubar will be in the Lancer, of course. And Stormfly will be in the Subaru. We will have to count how many, actually. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the Subaru. And that would make it 5 in the Lancer, would it not? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 indeed for Team Lancer. Bit short on numbers this Lancer. I will be sending messages out to anybody that is registered that hasn't rocked up this evening to remind them they are supposed to be racing as a full team member. But there we go. So just waiting for Kevin to start qualifying ready, because we're here, we're ready to go. Everyone is checked in. Let's get this qualifying underway. Let's go and have a look and see what sort of times we've been chucking out, shall we? I want to look at some of these liveries, because some of these liveries are something very, very special. So 1 minute to until qualifying starts. So let's get rid of that, shall we? And let's get rid of that, shall we? There we go. So there is TJ. He's in the WRX, of course. That is the DHL Motor WRX. I'm going to go to this view because we can get a really good look at all these cars as he jumps into the pits. Who else is out on track? There's Wiggy. Wiggy in the Repsol Dunker. Mitsubishi Lancer. Loving that. It's really, really cool. And all of these liveries are done by Kevin himself. They are really, really awesome. Check him out. If you want something done, you can speak to him and get it done. Stormfly is in Red Bull. He's gone for the Red Bull Racing livery. Mobile One Red Bull Racing. Red Bull Racing Oracle livery on that WRX, of course. Do you know what? I'm really looking forward to this. This is going to be freaking awesome. Demos has gone for AlphaTauri. So a little bit of rivalry there. We've got Mitsubishi AlphaTauri. We've got a Red Bull WRX all ready to go for qualifying. So we're going to have, as I said, 5 minutes qualifying. That is essentially going to be 2 hot laps. That's all you're going to get. Qualifying time is going to be around that. We did a 1:31. I would imagine 29:30 will be your qualifying time. These cars are quick. So looking forward to this big styling, and we'll have a look at all of the liveries when we get a chance to. But every single one of them is a thing of beauty. Mwah is the expression I think you're looking for. Mwah when you're looking at the cars. So here we go. 5 minutes of qualifying to begin. Everyone getting ready to get out there and get cracking. 2 tyre compounds must be used over that course of 20 minutes. 3 times wear on the tyres, 3 times wear on your fuel. I don't know what the refill rate is, but no one cares. No one cares about things like that. I want to have a look at Kevin's car, because you know Kevin's got something special. He has got of course, he's got the same livery. That's kind of Kevin's livery. He loves that kind of Shell Seaver red and black Santander livery that he's got there on his very own Mitsubishi Lancer. Looking good, my friend. Looking good, although we are short some Black Flag sponsors. Oh, no, we're not. Simply Pro's missing, but I'm sure we can sort that out at a later date. Do need to get Simply Pro on the cars, guys, please. There is Thanos. He is in the Sonic Equipment car. Again, Simply Pro missing from that, but we can sort that out without a problem. I do like that. Very, very cool. There is Panos in the WRX, of course, in the Patronus liveried car. And always think of let's have a look and see that. And a little bit of lag coming there from Panos. Sturpan, of course, Pink Panther BWT Racing. Looking good. That is short some liveries. Aussie Rooster, that is wicked. That is the classic look for the Subaru Impreza. Absolutely classic look. That is what when you think of the WRX, that is exactly the sort of livery that you think of. That is beautiful. We've seen TJ's, he's got the DHL one. Demos we've seen, of course. Stormfly we have seen. Wiggy we have seen. Avalon's got them gone for the Martini Aqua Plus. Look at that. Thing of beauty. So we've got 11 runners. Who's going to be... let's go on board with Thanos. No, we won't, because he's just crashed out. As we saw, that's Panos through. Let's go on board with Panos. We know how it works. This is Sector 2. You come around this. Now, this is the tricky kind of karting section in the middle of Interlagos. Interlagos basically is framed by two very, very quick straights. And then in the middle, you've got this really twisty kind of kart section. Now, no matter what car you're in, very, very complicated, very complex, and very few big opportunities to overtake. Most of your overtaking opportunities are through slipstream overtakes or into the Centre S is a really good place. Here can be if you cock it up. So you come here, you come out of Juncal, you get on the power, you head up the hill through the dreaded penalty line, and the penalty line is a killer, absolute murderer on this track. And you power down, you cross that white line, you keep it as close as you can to the pit wall. As you head down and you cross the line, that is a 1:30.8 for Panos. He hits the brakes into turn 1. That's the Centre S. You turn left, you get it changed down to 3rd gear before you get on the power again, up into 4th. Round you go, round the curve into Seoul. All the way round you are flat, flat, flat until you head down to the bottom of the hill. And that is the two really quick zones that frame this track. Done and dusted. And into the braking zone he goes. So, Stormflyer leads the way. That's a 1:30.8 in the WRX for Stormflyer. Panos in the, that's a Lancer, isn't it? 1:30.8 for him. Just 0.3 of a second difference. Wiggy running as a reserve in the Lancer. He is 0.2 back. That's a 1:31.0 for him. One more qualifying lap to go. Demos, it's literally a tenth and a half, 1:31.2. They're all going to be close because the cars are so close. Fubar, that is 0.02 of a second difference between him and Demos. 1:31.282 for him. 0.4 back is TJ, or Ghost as he's otherwise known. It's a 1:31.7 for him. Then 0.004 of a second back in the classic WRX. That is Aussie Rooster, and he is running in 7th on the grid. 1:31.7 for him. Avalon Shadow 0.4 back, and 1:32.1 for him in his. That's the Lancer, isn't it? He's in the WRX. I get confused. I can't remember the teams. TJ sets a new record. Demos puts himself on pole. Where's Kevin? There he is. He puts in a blistering lap and does get to do another one. 1:30.0. 0.2 up from Demos, who betted his time at 1:30.3. That pushes Stormfly down to row 2 alongside Wiggy, who's driving as a reserve today in that Lancer. Panos heads up row 3 with his countryman and teammate Sturpan. And Avalon Shadow and Fubar are on row 4. It looks like some of them have finished. So just, that's it, all done and dusted. So the 5 minutes is up. There is your grid. It's Kevin from Demos, Stormfly, Wiggy, Panos and Sturpan, Avalon and Fubar, Aussie with TJ, Thanos at the very rear of the pack, and of course the enigmatic, wonderful, wonderful host this evening, Urban Pirate, who's not actually racing at the bottom of that list. So there we go. Qualifying's finished. Waiting for the host to start the race. You are required to use both tyres, the mediums and the soft compound tyres. They will deplete at a rate of ×3. The fuel will deplete at a rate of ×3. It is 20 minutes here. 20 minutes, and for some reason I don't know why I've done it, but I've selected a GTR. But I'm not racing, so it doesn't really matter. But in terms of qualifying time, I mean, look at the difference. Take Thanos, it looks like Thanos had a bad lap, but it's 1.7 seconds between 1st and 10th. Anyone that watched the F1 stream beforehand will realise that very similar from 1st to kind of 10th in that as well, 1.7 seconds. So here we go. Race is starting. This is the first 20 minutes here in Black Flag E-Racing Rivals, BFeR Rivals. It's the Evo versus the Impreza. I'm really looking forward to this. Really looking forward to this. Shame we didn't get both teams at full roster this evening. But it is what it is. People have got to work and shizzle. But we did get 1 or 2 reserves in. And there will be warning tags out to anybody who's not signed in at this stage when they should have been. And I will be looking. So here we go. Race in progress. We'll jump back into the room now because it finally let me in. And we are away. And why is this not? There we go. And straight away into the centre-S. Challenges all over the park. Kevin does come through unscathed. Demos unscathed as well. Anybody spinning? There is a car sideways and another car sideways. That's FeR sideways. Avalon had problems. Panos had problems. Wiggy way at the back of the pack. And it was carnage into turns 1 and 2. And when will you learn? When you're going into turns 1 and 2 anywhere, particularly somewhere like Interlagos, just back the fuck off, man. Wow, that was mental. 2 drivers getting absolutely spun to fuck. FeR and Wiggy, who are now running 10th and 11th in this race. So big blow there for FeR in the Scooby. And Wiggy, who's running for Lance today. He is a reserve driver. They won't score team points for that effort. Only constructors. I know it's all very complicated, but I'll work it out. So there is Kevin, 77. He's already in the lead of this race. This is his brainchild. Came up with a really, really good format here. And he is already 1 second ahead of his fellow Greek compatriot and friend and teammate, Demos. I know it says Eleftheru, but it is Demos. That's his name. And I'm not going to wear it out. He is 6 steps up from Stormfly in that slipstream, and that's important. Get a little bit of slipstream all the way up there. Is always going to be useful. Stormfly running in the top 3 in 3rd place. Sturpan is in 4th. He's in that BWT, and currently 2.2 seconds clear of TJ. TJ, of course, in the DHL car, trying to find a way to close up and keep Thanos and Aussie Rooster at bay. And Aussie Rooster, he's always good for a hot lap every now and again. But at the moment, TJ's problem isn't catching Sturpan, it's keeping Thanos at bay. Thanos is crawling all over the back of him. And nice big black flag there for all to see. And just waiting for waiting for Thanos to make his move. Is there a potential move on for him? He is currently in the Lancer, chasing down the WRX. This is a straight team fight. This is for team points. This is, you're still going to get constructors. You're still going to get individual points. But this is 2 rival teammates battling it out in these 2 titans. And these cars are titans of both GT racing and rally racing. Absolute titans. And it wouldn't have been right had we not had that beautiful livery that we got on Aussie Rooster's car. Look at that. It's just a thing of greatness as he's closing down on the back of that. And that's a penalty for Aussie. That's going to cost him loads of time at the end of this lap when he crosses that penalty line. Tries to take a switcheroo line through there and doesn't work. Thanos quite wise to it. And Aussie a little bit squirrely and just dropping off the pace a little bit. Then we've got Avalon Shadow back in 8th place. That's the view we want. He is 1.6 seconds off the back of Aussie. And 1.6 seconds ahead of Panos. But that's a purple lap for him. Is he going to start chucking in some quick times and give us something to talk about? That would be nice. And guess what? Patrick's racing in a car other than a Porsche. It's like a fucking milestone, isn't it? Talking of milestones, I'm going to very quickly, I want to thank anyone who watches this video, likes this video, that's subscribed to the channel, anyone involved with Black Flag Racing, that's watched us, raced with us, whatever. Thank you very much. We hit 250 subscribers today, and I love every single one of you. And when I get an opportunity, I will come to your house and give you a free reach around. But it's going to take some time to get to you all. And I'm aware that some of you are probably over the age of 18. If you are, you won't get a reach around. I'll be using a Haribo. There we go. 1.4 seconds is the gap back to Panos. Wiggy and Fubar still at the back of the pack after both getting spun out in the centre S at the start of lap 1. They stay there. It does mean they will start at the front and potentially out of danger in race number 2. It is 20. We're already 5 minutes into this first race here, and it's going to be fast. It's going to be frantic, and at some point these guys will have to pit. It's mandatory. The thing is you can probably race the entire 20 minutes without having to fuel or get tyres. That's the irony. But you've got a mandatory stop, so you might as well use it. Fubar is 5.6 seconds back at the moment. So Kevin, 1.3 seconds clear of Demos. Just put in another fastest lap of the race. That's a 1:31.7 for him. He's in the Mitsubishi Lancer, of course, heading up Team Lancer. So some good points there for him. And standard points, the points don't change. They just get allocated all over the place. There is Demos. He is racing his teammate. So the two Lancers out in front at the moment. Stormfly in the WRX. That's the lead WRX. What can WRX do at this stage? Can Team WR or Team Subaru, as it's called, can Team Subaru do anything to put the frighteners on the Lancer runners at the moment? There's Sturpan. He's also in Team Subaru. So it's 1-2 for Lancer, 3-4 for Subaru. There's Thanos. He's in the Lancer as well. There is TJ. He's in the Subaru. They are spread out all over the shop. There's Aussie Rooster. We know he's in the Scooby. He's in that beautiful blue Scooby. Just behind in the Martini liveried car. There is Avalon Shadow. He's just ahead still of Panos, 1.3 seconds ahead. Wiggy, 3.3 seconds back. Is he able to do anything to close down? Panos last lap, 1:32.0. 1:32.3 for Wiggy. So he's actually losing time to Panos out in front. Now, in terms of tyres, this is interesting. So, Kevin out in the leads on the medium tyres, as is his teammate Demos. Then Stormfly's on the medium tyres, as is Sturpan and Thanos. TJ opted to start on the soft compound tyre. Now, I'm not sure the starting in sixth place on the soft compound tyre is worthwhile strategy unless you're going to go full in, balls out, dangly, and have a pop and make up 2 or 3 places, because everyone around you is going to be on the medium tyres. But saying that, Aussie Rooster's gone for the same tactic, and the tyre wear, and actually what we'll do as we're coming up to the pit window for those soft tyre runners, let's give you a little peek at the tyre wear, shall we? So that's where we're at in terms of tyre wear. We look at TJ. He's got probably, I think lap 7 is when we're going to start looking at TJ coming in. But Aussie Rooster's really taking it out of it on that Scooby. Really taking the pressure out of those tyres. And we'll have probably one more lap. I mean, maybe lap 7 if he's brave. But I have a feeling we're going to see him come in at the end of this lap. Does that put Avalon Shadow in a good position? Well, we know that he can look after tyres. We know that he's good at fuel saving. Kevin. We know Kevin's probably one of the masters at it, but we know that Avalon's very, very good, and that's the way that Avalon races. Avalon doesn't do balls out. He does slow and steady wins a race. He is the tortoise to Kevin's hare. Excuse me, sorry, I had been talking for a long time and needed a drink. I say Kevin's hare. I think Stormfly is probably the best analogy, because Stormfly will go absolutely balls out crazy. Well, actually, you know who is? GMAC, because GMAC doesn't like. He does beat pits a lot, but GMAC's the kind of sprint master, while Avalon is the endurance racing king. And they're saying that he's not been, he hasn't really competed in the 3-hour endurances, but that's mainly down to a bad back issue. That's the on board to Aussie. He's closed that gap right up. Almost putting Aussie onto the grass. He does unsettle him a little bit. Does he give that place back? That's the question. Absolutely no, he does not. That really, I think that needs to be looked at by the stewards. Naughty. That's the sort of scenario. Anyone that wants to look at the rules and see where you're expected to give up your place, that's it. If you tap someone like that, you know, Aussie's definitely lost time there. He lost a couple of places. Avalon is in the pits as well. He's still got an opportunity to give him the place back. Fubar coming through. He's on the medium side, so he can run a little bit longer. But he's up to 9th place. Overtake, who's yellow flag? Who's crashed? And that's Thanos. Thanos has had a little wobbly off. Fubar not close enough to capitalise on it though. He's still a little way back, is Fubar. But the gap's only 4 seconds. Wiggy has gone through up into 7th place. So slow and steady wins the race. Who's got penalty? Was that someone? It's a half-second penalty for TJ. It's going to cost him time. But there is Kevin. He's 2.4 seconds clear now of Demos. He's on the medium tyres. Can run a little bit longer. How you doing, Jason? Good to see you, buddy. We haven't got a chance to catch up this week, really. We will. I've just been really busy. It's been a pig of a fucking day, to be fair. But I'll take it back the weekend. It's been a pig of a fucking day. Put it this way. The position I was in at 10 o'clock this morning, in order to get the job finished this week, I was still in at 3 o'clock because I had to go backwards to go forwards because of someone else's cock up. But the less said about that, the better. Shall we? So Kevin leads 2.8 seconds in this Black Flag Rivals. It is the awesome Mitsubishi Lancer GT 3 car going head to head with the equally awesome Subaru Impreza WRX GT3 car. These cars are two of the iconic racing cars throughout the last sort of 20, 30 years, or 20 years certainly. Not just in GT racing, but in rally as well. Very, very well known. And this is Kevin's brainchild. He came up with the idea of racing these cars. You know, there was a time we thought this wasn't going to happen, but it is, and we're here. And there's 11 out there, and we can start handing out some points today, which is awesome. But there is Kevin. He's 3.4 seconds clear. He can pit when he likes. Pit when he likes. His name is Kevin. He'll pit when he likes. That's for you, Ozzy. We were singing that yesterday, weren't we? Or something similar. There is Demos. He's not able to keep up with Kevin, but he is able to stay ahead of everybody else. He's 10.4 seconds clear of Panos. Stormfly has been in the pit, so that is why he's further down the order. Panos still needs to pit. Thanos still needs to pit. Fubar still needs to pit. He'll be coming in at the end of this lap. I imagine we'll see a couple more, maybe. We do. Kevin's in. Demos is in. Does Panos, Thanos, and Fubar? It sounds like I'm just listing a load of Greek gods. So there's Kevin, and we've got Demos and Panos, and Thanos, the god of war, and Fubar, the god of chips. Sorry, Fubar. I'm only kidding, buddy. Only kidding. Stormfly, there he is. He is the front runner for anyone that's been in the pits. Now, will he blast through? He's on the soft tyres. Opportunity knocks. It knocks because where is Kevin? Kevin on pit out. Demos on pit out. There is Stormfly. He's coming through the S's now. Has he done enough? I'm not sure he has. He heads down and he can see up ahead. There is Kevin. Where is Demos? Demos just behind. Demos loses second place to Stormfly. Stormfly does, with that pit, make up one position. So now he can get off and chase, if he can, after Kevin 77, who's currently 4.1 seconds clear in the lead. So, full rundown. Let's go from the back of the pack. There is Fubar. He is coming out the pits now. He is running in 11th place. He's now moved on to those soft compound tyres. 3.8 seconds, 4 seconds back from Aussie Rooster. Back end of that WRX. Just stepping out a little bit. He's on the medium tyres. Might find himself a little bit vulnerable to Fubar, who's on that soft compound tyre. Thanos ahead of him on the soft tyre. It's going to be difficult. Really difficult. You can get some great pace on the medium tyres, no doubt about it. But at this stage of the race, when you've got enough fuel, you're going balls out, I think it's difficult to keep anyone chasing you on soft tyres at bay, nor for you to catch anyone on soft tyres either. TJ running on the medium compound tyre to the end of this race. He's in a similar position to that of Aussie. Got to finish this race on mediums. He has got 4.9 seconds behind is Thanos on the soft tyres. Can he close him down? That's question number one. Question number two, there's Panos ahead on soft tyres. Any chance he can close that gap? It's going to be difficult, really difficult. Panos is on the soft compound tyre. We'll put the barrier back up in a minute. There's Wiggy also on the soft compound tyre. Avalon also now on that soft compound tyre. The gap between them is only 7 tenths. Look at that, Wiggy already starting to move back through the order after that lap 1 incident, which saw him at the very back of the pack shortly before Fubar then got spun out as well. If there's an incident, obviously, if there's an incident that needs to be looked at, please send over the time of the incident on the replay. We will look at it and then delete the shot off. No, judges will be late. There are very clear rules for penalties and shooting in these events, and if you feel that you have been unjustly treated, then please do get involved. There was an incident earlier between Avalon and Aussie. Obviously, if Aussie wants to repeat it, he can. Report it, he can. Well, to be fair, I could report it as a commentator, but I'm not going to. My job is to report the facts and not be a grass. Snitches get stitches, bitches. So Wiggy is trying to close that Avalon, finding it quite difficult at the moment, but maybe he's just holding back till a little bit later. Gap to Stormfly 1.1 seconds. He has lost 2 places. Looks to me that Stormfly has had a very, very bad lap. When he crosses the line, we'll see how bad that time is. Well, he pit on lap 6, I think. Did a 49 and 146, so he's clearly had a little off somewhere, because Sturpan 5.2 seconds up the road. He's only 1.4 seconds behind his compatriot and teammate, and this is looking like a Greek 1, 2, 3. The Greeks love these cars, and I bet they've been practicing a bit. 1.4 seconds is Demos's advantage over Sturpan. 7 seconds is Kevin's advantage over the pair of them, and he goes sub 130 in this race with a 129.8. That's not shabby. That's a bit of all right, Kevin, mate. Bit of all right. There we go. So 11 runners this evening. This is Black Flag Rivals. Premise is very simple. There are 2 teams. There is Team Mitsubishi. There is Team Subaru. There are 7 members on each team, I believe, 6 or 7. I think it's 7. And there are 3 separate competitions here. There is, of course, the individual competition, individual championship, where you are racing for yourself. There is the team championship, where the 7 team members go head to head. Now, we appreciate that over these, I think, 9 races, you're not always going to have everybody there. So it is about maximising the team points when you have your teammates with you. There is also a Constructors' Championship, not to be confused with the Team Championship, where we just pit the cars themselves against each other, and reserve drivers will contribute to that pot in terms of points gained. All very simple if you understand it. If you don't, then you don't. But I'm not going to explain it again. Please sit down at the back and stop chewing gum in class. Kevin 77 is your leader. He is 7.7 seconds clear. This is his brainchild. You know that he has practiced and practiced and practiced. He didn't go on holiday over Christmas and New Year. He's been hiding indoors driving these cars, hasn't he? I'm only joking. Of course he went on holiday. Why would I doubt that? But where does someone who lives in a country where people go on holiday go on holiday? And I realise the irony that people do come on holiday to the UK, and I live here, but it's slightly different. You know, when you go for some sun and some beach, Greece is always going to be up there with your destinations. So do you go on them kind of beach holidays, or do you go for something a little bit different? Who knows? But there's your leader anyway. He is now 8 seconds clear. And just getting faster and faster and faster. Demos, he's been best of the rest. Second best, but not too far out of it. I mean, he's been doing a good job, but it's very difficult to keep up with Kevin when he's on this kind of form. And I'll tell you what, it's been, we haven't had Kevin racing for a while, because obviously it's been Christmas and he's been away. What a way to announce yourself back onto the stage with a win of that kind of dominance in race number 1 here. And we come towards the end of this race. 20 minutes is the race, so this will be the will it be the last lap for Kevin? No, I don't think he's going to make it. So it's Kevin from Demos, Sturpan, Stormfly, Avalon Shadow in 5th place. Good race from him. Wiggy not able to move up. He did make up a few places though after that mishap early on. Panos in 7th, Thanos in 8th, TJ in 9th place. Fubar's made up a position up to 10th, and he did catch Aussie in the end, and there is Aussie Rooster. The best looking car out there by a long, long way, but unfortunately in last place. But it does mean we get to look at the car for longer, right? Let's look at it from that point of view. So here we go. Here comes your race leader. He rounds Jean Cao into this final straight. He's going to cross the line as your winner. Race number 1, round number 1 of this brilliant, brilliant Rivals tournament. And it's score 1 for Team Lancer. And here comes Demos. He's going to cross the line in 2nd. Score 2 for Team Lancer. Score 1 for WRX in 3rd. Score 2 for WRX in 4th. So Lancer takes the first blood. Here we go. TWRX home in 5th place. And Panos comes home in 6th. He's in the Lancer as well, isn't he? No, he's in the WRX as well. So WRX finishing quite well. Thanos home in the Lancer in 7th. TJ in the WRX in 8th. Fubo will bring home that Lancer in 9th place. Wiggy ran out of fuel and he's going to come home plumb last and cost Lancer some vital points there in the Constructors' Championship. Aussie bringing home his WRX for Team Scooby, of course, in 10th place. So in terms of the team performance, I think WRX may have just on the balance of Wiggy not getting big points for the Constructors there finishing where he did. I don't know, may have just edged it. Might have just edged it. Don't know. Who knows? But let's screenshot that. And we'll screenshot that, so we've got all the results, and then I can update it all. It takes a little bit long to update this one because the scores are slightly different, so they won't be ready until maybe an hour after the race, once I've done it all properly. So there we go. That's race number 1 done and dusted. Just waiting for everyone to finish. I could jump on and start trying to do it's a race request. So I can accept that as a race there. Right, let's have a look and see who is signed in and who's not. Because I'm not going to hand out penalties this week for people who are not signed in. But from now on, I'm going to start handing them out. Because in this room, we've got Thanos is driving, he's not ticked in. Panos is driving, he's not ticked in. Sturpan is driving, he's not ticked in. We got to have these drivers confirmed, guys. Seriously, I can't do it all, man. I can't do it all. Help me out, man. Help me out here. And for some reason, I don't know. I'm gonna accept you all now. So Thanos I'm putting in, Panos I'm putting in, Sturpan I'm putting in. So no show from Canados, Stonecutter, GMAC or Ishmael Truth. And to be fair, I've heard from everybody except Ishmael Truth, to be fair. We'll find out what's going on with him. So there we go, race number 1 done and dusted. Race number 2 will be reverse grid kind of thingy bobby Ujar flip. Back shortly with that. back amongst you. I thought I'd just put this up because for no other reason than I could. Really? There we go. I think the driver's rolling now. I'm not even going to do that anymore. Just waiting for the reverse grid race to start. It's clearly reverse order from the previous race, so quite easy to work out. At the moment, Avalon for some reason is in last place. He shouldn't be there. He should be further up. Have updated the scores. Still have to update things like constructors and team points, but it's not much to look at this stage. Let's be fair. Let's go back to practice. Let's go and have a look at practice, shall we? Now, obviously, Kevin very dominant there. He's going to be charging through. Now, here's the problem, right? We saw there was a bit of carnage on lap number 1 going through the S's. Okay, you saw there was carnage there, and just as a note, I am going to add to the rules about the use of a red flag instance, which will essentially be if more than 3 drivers within the first 3 corners, in the first corner are white on lap 1, we will restart the race, but only if it's 3 on lap 1. 3 on that one or 5 by lap, by corner 3. We'll sort it out anyway. But you're gonna have Demos, you're gonna have Kevin, you're gonna have Sturpan, you're gonna have Stormfly. Those 4 really quick drivers, all trying to gain a few positions through turns 1 and 2. I predict, I'm gonna call it right here. I predict there's gonna be 2 or 3 crashes into turn 1 because of that. It would be a shame, but it's going to happen because you're going to have people charging through. That's why I think when we do reverse grid, it should be rolling start. Just purely because it gives a little bit of a gap back, and we're going to have to jump out, of course, and do this back in. And there we go. Everyone is away, and I'm really slow at doing that for some reason. And Wiggy going to be first into turn 1 and 2. Aussie Rooster having a look. There's some touchy. Anyone going to hurt each other though? Looks pretty safe so far. We look back. Everyone actually through very, very safely. Sturpad loses out already. Avalon Shadow dropping like a stone. He is last. And whatever happened to him coming through the S's, not looking good. He's tucked in behind Sturpad, trying to make that move back already. And there we go. Sturpad making a move on Kevin. Kevin looking around the outside of TJ. It is all go here on lap 1 at Interlagos. What a start this has been. It was good to see people going through turn 1 and not crashing. But I'll tell you what, it looks like there's going to be something going on somewhere. Kevin trying to make that move through. There is Panos ahead of him. He's got a half-second penalty. The penalties here are brutal, absolutely brutal. Half a second costs you somewhere around 2.5 to 3 seconds. For every half a second you lose here, it's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Sort your shit out, PD. How about Sony stop making fucking stupid films and fix the fucking lobbies, man? Stop it, mate. It's not as bad as it used to be. It's much better. But Wiggy still leads you out. He is 1 at second clear. He's on the medium compound tyre. I don't know why I've taken that off and left it off. There we go. So Wiggy is leading the way. He is just under a second clear of Aussie Rooster. Aussie Rooster doing very well in that WRX. Now, of course, Wiggy ran out of fuel in that last race and trickled home like a very, very slow thing and a very slow match. And I said slow and steady wins the race. Not always. Sometimes slow and steady makes you come last because you were slow. Stormfly in 3rd place. That is a good little dive forward from him. Puts him in a good position actually because Panos, Kevin, Sturpan, Demos all still in the bottom half of the field. So look, 20 minutes is a long time. We've got a number of laps to go, but it's all looking very good at the moment for Stormfly. Up there in 3rd place. Although, with that, Thanos absolutely melts him. That is ridiculous. Is Thanos waiting for him? Doesn't look like he is. So that's another one that needs to be looked at by the stewards. And it's not often we catch these little instances on the stream. So we could actually put it out to the wider audience and say, take a look at that shit. What do you think should be done? Should they be strung up by their testes and whipped until their butthole hurts? Or do a more appropriate thing like a couple of points or something, or a time penalty? But Stormfly makes that move back already on Thanos. I mean, it looks like Thanos actually gave him that back, to be fair. So no whipping of the, no hanging by the testes or whipping of the butthole for you. Thanos in 4th place. He's tucked in behind Stormfly after look at that dive by Kevin. What a move that was. Up into 5th place. He saw the gap. He went in the gap. And he's being followed very closely by Avalon. Avalon did a very clever job of sticking behind Kevin and making the moves that Kevin makes. Very smart. Does he make the move up the inside? He was having a look. Didn't do it in the end. Panos is running in 7th place. He is on the medium compound tyre, looking at the back of Avalon. But Avalon being on the mediums as well, it's going to be similar pace, I think. It's going to be difficult, especially with Avalon tucked in behind Kevin. TJ is in 8th place. He is 7/10 back from Panos. He has got Sturpan sort of equal distance behind, so he's in a bit of a Greek sandwich right now. And if I wasn't surrounded by so many Greeks, I'd make a joke about the baths and boys and stuff, but I'm not going to because I'll be killed. Sturpan running in 9th place. He's 1 second back from TJ now. Demos, who was so strong in race number 1, finishing way out in 2nd place, just behind Kevin. Still in 10th place. Little bit of drift. Not quite as a drift as Fubar. 33 seconds back. What happened to Fubar? There must have been an accident or a crash or a spin or something for him to be that far back. But at the moment, not getting on so well with that Lancer as you would have thought. But I'm sure he will come into his own at some stage. So we still leads here at Interlagos. Brilliant racetrack, Interlagos. I defy anyone to tell me it's not one of the top 5 racetracks on the planet. And I will tell you why you're wrong if you do think it is. But you won't have an opportunity to talk back because I'll just mute you. So Wiggy leads the way, 2.1 seconds clear as he heads into this little tricky karting section of Sector 2. He's got Aussie Rooster for company. There is Aussie Rooster just behind him. Well, not just behind him because you can't see him. In 2nd place, there he is. And he can see Wiggy up ahead. And that target is a big target for him. Both on the medium compound tyres. So they're both looking at doing something or going long as possible and then being quick. And I'll tell you what, if you are out in front and you start on the medium tyres, then you're in a really unique position. Well, not unique. Other people do. You're in a good position because it allows you just to be a little bit quicker in that second stint after the pit stop. And just a reminder, it's fuel times 3 and it's tyres times 3. It is a 20-minute race. Could you do this race without pitting? Well, if you were required to do so, I reckon you could probably fuel save the majority. But it's balls out. Everyone knows they've got a pit. So everyone's going balls out. They're putting their foot through the floor. So, no. Stormfly is in 3rd place. But he didn't get ahead of those front 2. He's closing in on Aussie Rooster. But that's the car behind. That's the car of Kevin 77. He is already closing that gap down to under half a second. Can Stormfly get around Aussie Rooster? Give himself a little buffer to the on-rushing car behind. And Kevin's getting ever so closer. Closer. Having a little look. No opportunity there. He's going to have to hang on and wait. Gets to go a little bit wide to avoid touching the back of Stormfly. They both take a great line through there. Stormfly makes the move on Aussie. Kevin follows round the outside. Does Aussie stay in front? Aussie can't hold him off. Kevin follows Stormfly through into the top 3. And Aussie gets double whammied there. And here we go, Kevin on the outside of Stormfly as they come into Junkao. And this is single file through here. Whatever you might like to think. Stormfly is through. Kevin is through. Who gets the best run? Kevin's going to have some lovely jubbly slipstream on the back of Stormfly. Stormfly has nothing. And can he keep defending from a car that has the slipstream on him? They're heading down towards the end of lap 5 to start lap 6. Kevin, is he close enough under braking to make this count into the S's? He makes the move into the centre S. Can he stay ahead? Stormfly looking for the little switcheroo. Kevin just smart enough to block that off. And Kevin up into second place here at Interlagos. Stormfly just trying to find a way through. What a move that was from Kevin though. Into the centre S. And Stormfly him side by side. Little touch there. Nothing untoward. Rubbing his racing in that kind of instance. Absolutely rubbing his racing. Well, it depends what sort of rubbing. But this kind of rubbing is racing. So Wiggy still in the lead, but that lead's been cut to 1.6 seconds. And that is because the cars behind, usually when two cars are battling, the cars in front of them get a little bit of a reprieve and open up. And the cars behind get to close up. But that's not been the case here. It's actually been the other way around. Is that where they've been pushing so hard, they're catching Wiggy up. Now, here's the thing. Kevin is on the soft compound tyre. He's going to have to pit. If he doesn't pit at the end of this lap, he will certainly be pitting at the end of lap 7. Now, we've seen that the undercut can be pretty strong. We saw Stormfly nicking second with an undercut. And then obviously later spinning out or crashing or doing whatever he did and losing that second position. But it can be done on the undercut. The question is, can it be done every time? Here goes Kevin. He's going into the pits. It's the end of lap 6. So he's going to switch out for that medium compound tyre. He's going to run long into this race. He's going to run long on the harder tyre. Longer and harder. That's the order of the day for Kevin. Avalon in. Demos in. Now, Avalon's in on the medium tyre. Does he think he can take the soft tyres essentially 7 or 8 laps? Clearly he does, because that's what he's doing. Interesting tactic. And I'll tell you what, if this pays off, I doff my hat to you. So he comes out on the soft tyres. Kevin comes out on the medium tyres. Demos comes out on the medium tyres. So Fubar up to what's the gap? Can't see it. We're 43 seconds back off Wiggy. Where is Demos in comparison? So Fubar coming through the S's. There is Demos, who's just to his side. If you look there, Demos gets out just in front of Fubar. But he is, does have a car to race now, Fubar, because he was some way back. But at least now he gets a little race. So out in front, it is still Wiggy. He's 1.8 seconds clear of Stormfly. They're both on the medium tyres. They can both run a couple more laps here and then go in. When do they go in? Wiggy says, now please. Stormfly says, now please. Thanos says, me too. Why are you leaving me out? Panos says, let's have some of that. No, he doesn't. He says, I'm going to continue on. I'm going to do another lap on these medium tyres. You lot can all stay in there. Does this prove to be a masterstroke in that Patronus liveried car? So Thanos, Stormfly, Wiggy, Sturpan, Aussie, they're all in the pits together, all looking for some advantage when they come out. Now Thanos, the only one going in on soft, he'll be coming out on mediums. Everyone else coming out on softs. Wiggy first. Does Wiggy put enough fuel in this time? Remember, Wiggy is not driving for any team other than for the car itself. So Wiggy's points will go towards himself, of course, and they will go towards the Constructors' Championship. They will not go towards Team Lancer. That is only for the regular drivers. Kevin up into second, just nipping past Wiggy. So that has worked. The undercut has worked for Kevin. He's ahead of Wiggy. Panos way out in front of him at 24 seconds, but he will be pitting. If not this lap, then certainly the next lap. Has he left it too late? That's the thing. Because those soft compound tyres can run certainly 7 laps, but any more than that, and I think you're struggling a bit. I think my son's pissed because he's struggling. So Panos does finally come into the pits on those medium tyres. 23 seconds is the gap. He is going to find himself probably somewhere around 3rd or 4th by the time he comes back out. So Kevin in second. There he is. He's the Greek god of driving. He is being chased by Wiggy. He made that overtake through a brilliant undercut. And but the difference is now, of course, he's on the medium tyres. He has got Wiggy behind him on the softs. Now, can Wiggy get the same sort of time out of those soft tyres that Kevin's getting on the mediums, or can he do better? That's the question. We know that Kevin's quicker on those medium tyres, but we know that Wiggy is no slouch. So much so that he's had a corner named after him, for Christ's sake. And anyone that didn't see that, you have to check it out. I'll plot it up on this video. So where are we into this video? Whatever point I'm talking about this, I'll plot it up. It'll be at the top there, and you can click on it and watch it. It was the reverse of Kyoto Yamagiwa, and where you've got that little chicane section where you've got the kind of right, left, right, down at the bottom of the hill that's deceptively slower than you think. That is now the Wiggy Wiggler. It's named in virtue of him absolutely bending the car around on that particular corner. So Kevin leads by 1.4 seconds. That's points for him. That's points for Team Lancer. Wiggy is also driving the Lancer. That's points for him and points for the Lancer constructors. 1.1 seconds back to Stormfly. Stormfly having a slightly better race this time in the Scooby. Not much better. I mean, if you swap fourth last time out. But third is always better than fourth. Avalon is 3.9 seconds back in fourth place. He was quite far back to start off with, so doing okay there. Stormfly with the fastest lap at 130.7. Can he do anything with that? That's the question. Thanos, not to be mistaken for the one that tried to end the world in the Marvel films. He's a different one. He is 2.4 seconds behind Avalon. He's 7/10 up from his compatriot, friend, his countryman, HKRT Panos. If anyone was wondering why there's so many HKRT in the room, it's quite simple. Black Flag and HKRT are kind of like partners, where we're kind of like, we're friends with benefits. We're not married, but we do touch each other inappropriately on a regular basis. No, it is kind of like a marriage. We've got a kind of partnership. The HKRT's guys drive with us on a regular basis, and we all enter World Championships together, particularly GT Fusion, under the one big sort of HKRT kind of thingy banner. Yeah, that's it. They retain the HKRT because they've got their own sponsorship and stuff, but we all race together and play together, and we're all very good friends. There we go. That explains it. So there we go. Yeah, Panos in fifth place. 1.2 seconds back to Thanos. Then we've got half second, just there or thereabouts, back to Sturpan. So all those Greek runners were running in 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th place. 2.5 seconds back to Aussie Rooster. He was doing so well to start out with. He's just kind of dropped back in that WRX. He's just done his best lap of the race though, 1:31.8. He's got TJ all over the back of him. His best lap so far is a 32.3, but he is now on those soft tyres. Can he make that count? His last lap, 31.2. He is only half a second behind Aussie. Not doom and gloom just yet. Feeling for Fubar, not been his day. He got absolutely melted in track number one, race number one. Spun round, nothing he could do about it. Did try and fight his way back, gained a couple of positions, but he's having an equally bad time here in race number 2. And you can see there that he's had, his laps have been okay, not really that poor, but once you get, clearly at the beginning of the race it all went horribly wrong, and once you get that far back, in a 20-minute race where the cars are so similar, very difficult to do anything about closing up. Is what it is. So there's your race leader. He is still ahead, but he's only 3/10 ahead. And there goes Wiggy up into the lead of this race. Uses that slipstream, uses that traction out of Junção, and takes the lead of this race over Kevin 77. We're on lap 12. There is only a couple of laps left here. We're on minute 17, this 20-minute race. So 2 laps remaining. Can Wiggy stave off the charge of Kevin 77. Can Stormfly capitalise on the soft compound tyres and do what Wiggy did and move up into the top 2? Can Stormfly then move forward and take Wiggy? That is a battle I'm looking forward to seeing. These three running away with it at the moment. It is Wiggy from Kevin from Stormfly. They're your top 3. And look how long it is before we see another car. There finally is Avalon. He's 5.96 seconds back from that front 3. He is leading the rest of the pack. 1 second ahead of Panos. He was 1.6, 1.5 seconds ahead of Sturpan. He's 1.5 seconds ahead of Thanos. And Demos, half that, about 8/10 back, crawling on the back of Thanos. Now we know how quick Demos was in the first race. Absolutely matched Kevin pace for pace until Kevin decided to fuck off on the road, of course, like he normally does. We look back to Demos, there he is. 2.5 seconds he's ahead of TJ right now. And there is the Dutch driver, TJ, our glorious sponsor from Lookham's Machinery. Thank you very much for the support and allow me to call you a bellend on a regular basis and not chuck your toys up, Bram. There he is. It's 2.1 or 1. Whoa. What's going on with Thanos there? Because, or Demos, should I say? Looks like Demos must have had a penalty because TJ absolutely flew past him. And Demos down now 1.4 seconds behind TJ. So splitting the Greeks. And usually the only thing that does that is a crowbar. I'm sorry. That was inappropriate. That was inappropriate. I won't do it again. 7.2 seconds between Demos and Aussie. Can Aussie close that gap? He's on the soft tyres. I tell you what though, those soft tyres have got to go a little way yet, and they're looking ropey. Fubar 26 seconds back at the back of the pack, but it's still points. It is still points. You put them on the board, and it matters. Absolutely matters for Team Lancer. So, Kevin back in the lead of this race from Wiggy. How long for? How long can he hold out? How long before Stormfly gets to make a move? We're on the final lap of this race. We have got just one corner left. There we are. Round and out of Junkao goes Kevin. I think he's just far enough ahead to win this race. But can Stormfly nick it from Wiggy at the very last? Kevin rounds that last little full pace bend. He'll win this race. And I'll tell you what, probably deserved as well. And he does cross the line in first. Wiggy takes second. Deserved second. Did lead for most of the race, but couldn't sustain it right at the end. Stormfly in third. Sturpan comes home in fourth. Panos comes home in fifth. Thanos in sixth. TJ in seventh. And that'll be Demos in eighth place. Then we have Aussie Rooster, Avalon Shadow, and Fubar Philantis will be the final 3 here. So there we go. 2 20-minute races in this rival series. And I'll tell you what, I'd love to have like 10 of these. These are brilliant. Absolutely love this format. We'll work out the points, get them sorted out. Remember, individual points, there are team points, there are constructor points. And the reserve drivers do not contribute to team points. Remember that. It's important because it will make a difference this season. The constructor might be doing very well. Doesn't mean the team will. Doesn't mean the team will. So there we go. What can we say? That was fast and furious, and can't think of anything a better way to describe it. Really, brilliant. 2 brilliant wins back to back for Kevin 77. Congratulations and welcome back from your hollybobs. And you do realise I normally kill people for saying things like hollybobs, but congratulations and welcome back. Yeah, I need to change that a bit. Got to change my head on my Vic. Wiggy well deserved second place. Stormfly rounds out that top 3. So it's a third and a fourth for Stormfly today. 2 firsts for Kevin. Second for Demos. A second for Wiggy. A third place for Sturpan and a fourth for Sturpan. So him and Stormfly at the moment looking quite good in terms of side-by-side racing. How about that? But anyway, so we're done and dusted here. We're going to move into the very soon. quick catch up what's coming up. Euro trips and Black Flag Formula One. There are a few Black Flag members in that Euro trips team. The opportunity is still, if anyone wants to sit, there are still kind of seats available. So if any Black Flag guys want to have a bit of F1 action on a Friday night, we're only on round 2. There are a couple of seats available if you want them. I have heard from a few people saying, well, I've got practice a bit. No offence to Eurotrip guys, I'm sure they won't take offence with this. We are not talking about super top tier racing. We're talking about, there are people racing in there you have already raced against. We've raced together on F1 and you've beaten or been close to. So get involved, man, it's good. And then Saturday, it's the last of our brilliant race of mine. And I know it's taken a while to get through the 5. It's just been so busy with Christmas and everything else going on. But we do finally get to our last race for Mind. The track is supposed to be Spa. It will probably not be Spa because of the bug. But we'll see what. I will confirm 100. I was going to confirm earlier this week, but I've just been too busy. So it is what it is. But there we go. So that's on Friday. That's Saturday. And then Sunday, I've got something special planned for Sunday. Another new Formula 1 racing commentary. Looking forward to that one. And then, of course, back to GR4 on Monday. Anyway, bitches, it's been highly emotional. Really enjoyed my time this evening. It's been my second broadcast. I've been doing this since 7 o'clock. So I'm going to go and have a little lie down and in a darkened room and